up his ass that keeps his spine erect for the past multiple years at this point. What do you mean? He's been dead. What are we talking about?
With fear, it comes with
it's not jarring.
Uncertainty.
His brain is doo-doo. He doesn't even know what any of this is. Olivia Juliana crashing out.
For joining us for
she's saying she's crashing out and saying all those who spent the past week shaming him have been shaming the man with cancer instead of the felon deporting children with cancer. First of all, people didn't even know that he had cancer. And secondly, that his cancer diagnosis doesn't change the dynamic at all. His selfishness and his interest in the continuation of dead Palestinian children unironically contributed to the Trump victory. So if you hate the orange man, and if you say orange man bad, you have to remember that Joe Biden's ineptitude and his selfish interest in maintaining his grip of power is directly responsible for orange man winning power. There is no wow, I hope you feel good about yourself. Yeah, dude, I don't feel good. You want to know why I don't feel good? Because there is no karmic justice on this planet. There is no justice whatsoever. And there's certainly no karma, no karmic justice whatsoever. Because Joe Biden has seen the entirety of his life. He went all the way up into his 90s. He actually became the president. He oversaw some of the worst American foreign policy decisions. He oversaw the undermining of international rule-based order directed by Joe Biden himself. So much death and so much destruction. And he opened up the floodgates of Donald Trump for a second term. So no, I don't care that he got prostate cancer at the age of 90. Get the hell out of here. And this is before we even talk about his track record leading up to his election. Doing that is because every week that passes makes it all the more less likely for him to be off the ballot. He is trying to crawl not towards the finish line being November 5th. He's trying to crawl to the convention. Remember, these are some of the dirty tricks that this war criminal old man pulled off in an effort to ensure that there wasn't enough time to replace him. When his brain was dookie, him and all of the people surrounding him actively tried to make sure that he could go, he could basically make it to the next step in the process so that no one could replace him, so that he would be the one who runs against Donald Trump. And being November 5th, he's trying to crawl to the convention, which is so fucking gross. Once people recognize that reality, I suspect they'll be a little bit more angry. I don't think people have noticed that yet. I've been saying this now since the debate. He is literally trying to desperately get to the convention so it becomes a matter of it's not even a question at that point. Because every day that passes by... Is it just me, or are you being way less crass than you could be? Yes, I am. I'm being way less crass than I normally would be, because I know that a lot of liberals are going to be in their fifis, and they're going to turn around and look for anyone to yell at that they possibly can to try and position themselves as the real anti-Trump people, not realizing that their actions, the actions of Joe Biden, led to Donald Trump. They just don't want to recognize that, because then the party that they maintain loyalty to will be the wrong party here.
Do you think that Joe Biden really would have been able to perform as president all the way through January 2029 when he would be 86?
Yes, I thought that back then. I still think that.
Ay, ay, ay.
So it's not about age. It's about the ability to do the job. And I never saw anything that allowed me to think that Joe Biden was not able to do the job. Just that simple.
The debate didn't make you concerned about whether or not he could do the job?
Absolutely it did. I never saw any of that. I didn't see the tapes from her interview. And I watched that debate, and you and I talked about it. And yes, I was concerned. Now, the question is this a condition or is this an incident? And I have had incidents when I was looking for my glasses and had them on.
Yeah, bro, you should also quit. What are we doing? Yes, you are also entirely too old. Are you scared of being yelled at by liberals, or do you find some value in being more tempered? You fell off, Onk. I don't I don't care. I'm tired and I'm angry, and I don't think that him getting cancer is even justice, okay? It is not even a fraction of what Joe Biden deserves. And now everyone is going to act like he's already dead. Our campaign bent over backwards to accommodate them. The VP broke on Biden with Gaza. She met them. Senior leadership met with them. Uncommitted leadership told us they knew the VP was better than Biden and Trump, but they needed to win so they could rationalize their antics. Yeah, this guy is former director of rapid response for Kamala Harris, formerly delivering words on behalf of Joe Biden, still defending the Kamala Harris campaign. Joe Biden, outside of Donald Trump and the Republican Party, Joe Biden is perhaps the second most responsible party for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is a close third, and her campaign is a close third, but Joe Biden is literally the second most responsible party for Donald Trump. So if you hate Donald Trump, as I do, you have to recognize that reality. If you don't recognize that reality, you are deluding yourself. Who's the most responsible party for Donald Trump? Obviously, Donald Trump is most responsible, and the Republican Party is most responsible for Donald Trump. He is Donald Trump himself. But the second most responsible party in this situation is Joe Biden, due to his ambition, due to his horrible management, due to his lack of interest in stepping aside, living in the aftermath of that disastrous consequence of Trump 1. The Democratic Party should have recognized the real threat that Trump 2 presents, as I did, as many others did, and forced Biden out, forced Biden to step aside. But instead, they propped up Biden at a time when myself and many other people could see that he was senile, all the way back in 2019, all the way back in 2020. There were people who actually rang the alarm bells, if you remember. People like, what's the Texas guy? Castro. It was, here, look at this.
Barack Obama's vision was not to leave 10 million people uncovered. He wanted every single person in this country covered.
September 12, 2019, here you have Julian Castro literally questioning Biden's senility in 2019.
My plan would do that. Your plan would not.
They do not have to buy in. They do not have to buy in.
You just said that. You just said that 2 minutes ago. You just said 2 minutes ago that they would have to buy in. You said they would have to buy in.
Have to buy in. If she qualifies for Medicaid,
are you forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago?
Be in for it.
Are you forgetting already what you said just 2 minutes ago?
Yeah, they packed his ass up for that, by the way. The Democratic Party and its machine is so nefarious that they saw this as a major threat to the one guy that actually was saying the truth on that stage, because they saw Biden as the only option to rally around, against Bernie. They were so terrified of Bernie Sanders potentially coming out of that primary as the victor and having to change the trajectory of the Democratic Party in a way that actually is progressive, in a way that moves towards an ambitious social democratic expansion of welfare and social safety nets, that instead of that, they literally turned around and they were like, we have to do everything we can to make sure that this does not happen. And Brandon was the guy that they presented as the alternative. He had the name recognition. He was Obama's vice president. He was the best possible person to do this. And the media offered multiple billions of dollars worth of organic and native advertising after a predictable victory that came in from South Carolina. All of this played a role in Biden actually seizing tremendous victories on Super Tuesday, changing the tide of the primaries. They all knew he was old and decrepit, and yet they still pushed him. They still pushed him aggressively, and then they maintained this idea that Biden was perfectly fine, and he had incredible motivation. He was not senile. His brain was totally fine. Here's Matt Stoller correctly pointing out, Democratic insiders know Biden has cognitive decline issues. They joke about it. They don't care. Near attendant, this is beneath you. Block. Folks, this is the only way to handle this nonsense. The Sanders outreach continues, I see. I wonder why you're losing. Khanna continued, in light of what has come out, it is painfully obvious President Biden should not have run. He said his party played too much deference to party leaders.